Story 1. The Woman in the Hotel Hallway. In 2003, Sarah was traveling for work and staying at an old hotel in downtown Chicago. The hotel was known for its history, both as a glamorous destination in the 1920s and as a site for unexplained events. After a long day of meetings, Sarah returned to her room on the 10th floor. Around 2 a.m., she was startled awake by the sound of loud knocking on her door. Groggy and confused, she sat up, but the knocking had stopped. Figuring it was a drunk guest at the wrong door, she tried to fall back asleep. Moments later, she heard soft, rhythmic knocking again, not at her door, but along the hallway. It started faintly at one end, growing louder as it approached her room, then faded as it moved further away. She peeked through the peephole, expecting to see a guest or a staff member. But the hallway was empty. Uneasy, she locked the door's deadbolt and climbed back into bed. A few minutes later, her phone rang. When she picked up, there was no sound on the other end except static and faint breathing. She hung up, chilled to the bone, and decided to leave her room light on for the rest of the night. The next morning, she mentioned the events to the front desk staff. They exchanged nervous glances and hesitated before telling her that the 10th floor had long been associated with strange occurrences. A maid had once claimed to see a woman in a white dress standing silently in the hall. When she approached, the figure vanished. Sarah checked out early and never stayed in that hotel again. Story 2. The Face in the Window. In 1995, a family in a quiet rural town in Pennsylvania moved into an old farmhouse. The house had been abandoned for years, with rumors of its history steeped in tragedy. A family had disappeared from the home in the 1940s without explanation. The Johnson family initially shrugged off the stories. But soon, their 10-year-old son, Lucas, began complaining about a man who watched him from the window at night. His parents dismissed it as a child's imagination, until Lucas's bedroom window, which faced an empty cornfield, was found open one morning. The latch was broken, even though it had been intact the night before. Things escalated when Lucas's older sister, Mia, heard faint tapping on her bedroom window late one night. Thinking it was her brother playing a prank, she pulled back the curtains to scold him. Instead, she saw a pale, expressionless face staring back at her. She screamed, and the figure disappeared into the dark. The family called the police, who found no signs of forced entry or footprints outside. Still, the tapping persisted for weeks. One night, Mr. Johnson decided to stay up and keep watch. Around 2 a.m., he saw movement in the backyard, a shadowy figure standing near the edge of the cornfield. When he shone a flashlight, it darted out of sight. The family decided to move after finding all the windows in the house wide open one morning, even though they were securely locked the night before. They never figured out who, or what, was haunting them, but the farmhouse has remained vacant ever since.